Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have some crafty inspiration for you today from Studio Light and Ecstasy Crafts. I'm going to be using the mixed paper pad A3M PPSL162. On the back, you can just see all of the different papers that are included in this paper pad, including 2 sheets of printed vellum at the back, which is super fun. And just totally really love these papers. They're A5 size. They work beautifully with the Planner Essentials from Studio Light. Today, I'm going to be using the Planner Die Stencil SL347. This is the set here that I'm showing you. I love these for creating my pages for my Traveler's Notebook style planner. And I'm also going to be using this really sweet little set. This is the Basics DC58 Essential Stamp and Die Cut set. It creates these most adorable little tiny envelopes and a bunch of elements that go with them. Now I'm going to use this die here to create my page for my A5 page that I'm going to be doing here for my memory planner. And here you can just see that this is going to perfectly cut out the page that I want to create for my base. So like I said before, the mixed paper pads are the perfect size for creating these memory planner pages for the Planner Essentials products that you might be working with in your memory keeping. And I love using this size for a memory keeper. It's just perfect. You can put together and document your memories very, very quickly. And you can see that this paper pad, this mixed paper pad, has all kinds of other elements that you can use on your projects as well. All kinds of cut aparts, tags, banners, little bits and pieces that you can fussy cut out for your project. I wanted to use this one 4x3 card here that has a little border around it, and I'm actually going to use that as a mat for my little 4x3. Actually, the photo I'm using is smaller than 4x3. It fits just perfectly in the center of this piece. And I'm going to fussy cut a bunch of the other pieces out as well. I'm not going to use all of these pieces that I am going to fussy cut out, but I like to just start by fussy cutting some bits and then choosing from what I have fussy cut out for my project. So here you can just see I'm going to grab some of these little circular pieces here. I am going to use that globe as well, but I actually end up cutting that out with a circle punch. I don't use this piece here, but I did fussy cut it just in case I wanted to use it or it worked for this project. But what I do with the ones that I don't use is I just stick them back into the paper pad for another project. So here you can see I've got a bunch of different options for this project today. And I am going to, and I have used that really adorable little die to create this little envelope. And I used some of the denim type paper, pattern paper from the mixed paper pad to cut out that little envelope die. And it's just going to create this spot for a little bit of a little hidden message for this project today. So here you can see all of the little pieces, and I'm just thrilled with these mixed paper pads. They're so cool. I will make sure to link up to all of the different products in the description box below that I use for my project today, and there will be a coupon code as well in the description box for you to access as well at Ecstasy Crafts. Now I'm going to also use the Basics DC58 set to stamp out some different things for some different little elements for my little envelope as well. Now this piece here I'm going to stamp out with my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. This is just a really nice crisp ink that just really stamps out nicely for this type of an element. You could just see how nicely that stamped out there. Now there are coordinating dies in that essential stamp and die cut set with this little envelope, and you can just see how sweet that is. It's going to fit perfectly into the envelope once I get that all glued shut. And yeah, super sweet. So you can leave little messages on there on the piece, on the part of that little bit that is blank on the other side, or you could write a tiny little message in any of the open area here. I'm also going to stamp a little bit of another stamp. I think it says, this one says "You Are Loved," I believe. And so I'm going to stamp that onto one side of this little kind of postcard shape that's going to go into the envelope. Another one of the dies in that stamp and die cut set has a little triangular shape, and I thought that would be just perfect for a little element on the front of my envelope just to decorate it a little bit and create a little bit of a pocket on the outside of the envelope as well. So here again, I'm just showing you how that's going to fit together. So sweet. And there's something about these little mini envelopes that are just so adorable. I love them. So there's that triangle die that I used to cut out that triangle piece. And I am going to use more of those stamps from the DC58 stamp and die set to decorate my little bits here. So I'm going to use some of these little, it's kind of like a little bubble stamp. And I'm going to stamp that out with some Distress Oxide in Chipped Sapphire. And so I'm just going to stamp it onto that triangle shape, and I'm going to use some really strong 1/8 of an inch double-sided adhesive to stick that onto the outside of my envelope to create a little pocket. So here you can just see I'm grabbing that double-sided adhesive, and I'm only going to adhere that onto this triangle piece on 2 sides of the triangle and leave that one side open so that I can slide things into that little area for a little pocket. So I'm just going to tear off my double-sided adhesive. I'll take the backing off of that and get that adhered down to the outside of the pocket. And I love that pattern paper from the mixed paper pad. It is so fun. And like I said, this particular paper I used for my envelope looks like denim, which is really cute. I love it. It's perfect for this little pocket. And here you can just see I'm taking that release paper off the back of the tape, and I'm going to stick that down here to my little envelope. Now there are actually, I think, a set of 4 of these little stamp and die cut envelope sets. So there's a whole series of these. You can find those in the Ecstasy Crafts store, and they all have different little sayings, different shaped elements as part of them, which is super fun. So there I've got that stuck on there. I really like how that looks. I'm just making sure that that's straight. And at this point, I believe I'm going to go ahead and glue the envelope so that it is all ready. So here I'm just showing you that little postcard. And here is where I am going to go ahead and glue this envelope shut. So I'm just checking it out, making sure that I have that all folded up properly before I go ahead and add the glue to the inside there. So I'm just going to put it on that little flap edge and then fold the envelope shut, and it will just adhere to that glue and it will be all ready to go. Just going to add that on. I don't want to get too much on here because I don't want it to ooze out and get onto the inside of my envelope. I don't want my envelope to be completely glued shut, just the flap onto the other flaps. So that is going to be perfect. I got that all put away, and I will insert my sweet little postcard into this adorable little envelope. So cute. Love it. And like I said, you can add a little message onto the back of that in the open space as well. So now I'm going to take a little bit of antique linen, Distress Oxide ink. I'm taking an ink blending tool, and I'm just going to add some of this onto the white area there over top of those little bubbles, just to give it a little bit more color so that it's not quite so stark white. And I will get that put away. And I'm just going to move on to showing you that I've cut out another one of the dies from that stamp and die set, and just show you how that fits so well in there. This is a couple of the fussy cut elements from the paper pad that I'm going to use to decorate the outside of the envelope. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start to work on my photo. I'm going to stick the photo down to that 4x3 card, and I'm going to use a little bit of dimensional adhesive to do that, just to pop the photo up a little bit off the project. So I'm going to take a little bit of foam adhesive tape, and I'll just cut a couple of strips of that and adhere that onto the back of my photo, and so that my photo is not quite so flat on the project, it is going to pop that up nicely. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that all adhered down here. I'll take that release paper off the back and get that adhered onto my 4x3 card. And I just love the dimension that that adds. It just makes it look just a little bit better than having it just completely flat. once I've got my photo layered up there nicely, I'm just going to kind of try to decide where I want to put everything else that I have fussy cut out. So I've got the globe and I've got a few other little pieces, a tag and a ticket. And I'm definitely not going to use all of these pieces, but I just am going to kind of roughly place them onto my project to kind of try to decide. I thought maybe that tag, but I end up not using that one. And I really like this really skinny little sentiment piece here. This one says, "The best journey takes you home." And that was kind of really perfect with the little message that I wanted to leave on this project. And now I'm just going to start to adhere things down. So I'm going to keep my photo over closer to the edge because I want to paper clip my little mini envelope to the side of the project. And so that's going to be a perfect placement there. I'm going to pop up lots of the little pieces with some foam adhesive. So the globe, I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back of that to pop it up and make it dimensional as it sits to the side of the photo. So I'm just going to make sure that the foam adhesive is over on the side of that globe on the left. And I will put a little bit of foam adhesive on this little strip as well. But before I do that, I wanted to put a little bit of twine in the little place where there's the indication for the like a little hole in the far left side. So I'm going to just take up my craft pick and a little foam pad, and I'm going to punch a hole in that little spot where the circle is, and through that I'm just going to add a little bit of twine, and I'm going to add that off camera. Just going to put it through and tie a knot. I don't do anything fancy there. So there you can see that's all finished. I will add a little bit of foam adhesive to the back of that and put that across the bottom of the photo. So I really love that. I think that's super cute. And that is going to add a little bit more detail to my photo and my photo mat area. And let's see. I also wanted to make sure that people know to look inside of that little mini envelope. So as part of another one of the little essential stamp and die cut sets, it's actually called the Basic DC 56. I'm going to use part of that set to help me out with that so that people know to look inside of this little envelope. So you're going to see me working on that once I decide on where I'm going to put this little mini envelope. So I've got a paper clip from my stash, and I'm going to use that to adhere the envelope. I don't really like the envelope in the lower section. I'm actually going to put it up at the top of the photo, and then it's just going to be kind of diagonal to that globe at the bottom. I think that's a better placement for it for sure. And I am going to put those little embellishments on top of that, and I will add a little bit of foam adhesive to the topmost little circle piece that I add. I think it's a compass maybe, so or maybe it's a stopwatch, I'm not really sure, but I think it's a compass though. That makes sense because this is kind of like a travel themed little paper pad, the mixed paper pad. So that top piece here that I'm adding now, I'm just going to put a little bit of foam adhesive on the back of that so that it's nice and popped up and dimensional. And I love the placement of that little mini envelope. I think it's so cute. So here you can just see, and I'm going to use from another one of the basic sets. This is a Stencil SL. I think this one it's not 347. I actually can't remember, but I will make sure that I link it up. I will try to remember to link this up at the bottom in the description box, but I think I did show you what it says on the packaging there, but there's an arrow in there, and I'm going to use that arrow die to help me out with this next little part. So this is the Stamp and Die Cut DC 56, and this is so cute. It's also got a little envelope die in it, but it's got a bunch of other little bits. So there's a couple of circle dies, and there's a bunch of little fun little sentiments and such. So one of the little stamps says look inside, which is perfect. So I'm going to stamp out look inside, and then I'm going to die cut that out with one of the two circle dies in this set. And I'm going to put that beside that arrow, which I die cut out of gold metallic cardstock. And so the little arrow is going to indicate that you should look inside of that particular little envelope and element. There's another little stamp in the DC 56 set that is going to kind of put a little bit of detail around the outer edge of this circle, and I really wanted to add that. It's a little heart and then a little broken line. I thought that was so cute. So I'm adding that. And then there's another circle die that's part of that set that's a little bit larger. I'm just showing you that up close. I used a little bit of antique linen on the edge of that as well. And I'm going to use the denim pattern paper again for the larger circle. And I'm going to adhere those two circles together. I've layered them up with a little bit of foam adhesive. And now I'm going to glue that gold arrow beside the look inside circle, just to indicate to whoever's looking at this to look inside that little envelope. So it's just a really fun way to add a little bit of hidden journaling or a little message to a project. I think it's super fun, and like again, I will say these little mini envelopes are so sweet and fun to add all kinds of different little elements to your projects. This is an amazing alpha die set. This is Stencil SL390. And it's super fun because you get upper and lower case, plus some little different little bits of, I don't know, just some like periods and that kind of thing. I don't know what I'm trying to say right now, but there's some other little bits that are part of the alphabet as well. I have cut the alphas from some of the pattern paper from the mixed paper pad, and then I have cut the outline of the alpha from craft. So each one of the letters has two pieces to it. It has the alphabet and then a backing piece that layers behind the alpha. So that's super cool. I've cut out the word message, and I'm going to actually go around each of the different craft areas of the base for the letters with a little bit of chipped sapphire. And that is going to, like I said, spell out the word message. I love that for the title for this piece. And actually I took a really fine black gel pen and I added a little stitching line to help outline the alphas a little bit so that they show up a little bit better as well. And I don't know if you can see on the project at this point, but I did add some stitching around the outside edge of my project as well. So I just took this to my sewing machine and I added a little line of sewing all the way around the outside edge. And I don't know if you can see that at this point or if I did it after this step here, but it is definitely on there and it adds some really nice texture. Now there's a really nice place for some journaling there that's open in that open space if you wanted, but I kind of wanted to add another element here. So you'll see me doing that as well. I'm also going to use the reinforcements from my die set to add some reinforcements to my project as well. I'm going to cut those out of some gold metallic cardstock again. And I'm just going to use my liquid adhesive to glue those onto the holes of my page. So you'll just see me here. And this is where I'm going to show you the sewing. There's the sewing that I added. So, and I'm also showing you the little, the black gel pen that I added around the letters. So I'm going to add my liquid adhesive onto my reinforcements here and get those stuck down. I really love the detail that the reinforcements add to the project. I think it's super fun, very easy to do, a really super easy technique. And I love that the dies, the Planner Essential dies for that cuts out the pages, come with these reinforcements. So fun. So there, I am going to get those stuck down, using my tweezers to help me get those placed. And now what I'm going to do next is I've fussy cut one of the banners from one of the element pages from the mixed paper pad. I'm going to actually tape that down with some washi tape from Studio Light. I love these black washies that they kind of look like label tape. label maker tape. This one says family on it. I thought that was perfect. And that's another really great spot where you can put some journaling underneath that flap. So it's just super cute. You could just do some journaling strips in that area as well, but I thought this was just another fun little element that I wanted to show you that you could do as well. I want to add a little bit more detail to that flap as well, so I'm going to just take another one of the little fussy cut pieces from the paper pad that I cut out. I'm just showing you there, you could also use a tag instead of a banner. And this little circle is one of the little fussy cut pieces I'm going to finish with. Make sure you check the description box for links to Ecstasy Crafts, to the Studio Light products that I've used. I love Studio Light. I am a huge fan and love using these products so much. So be sure to check out Ecstasy Crafts. They do have so many fantastic Studio Light products, and I had so much fun making this. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the end. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you another time. Bye-bye.